Hello everyone and welcome back to sort of the journey, but not really. This is more of a stats video. We're going to talk about the 2013 season, about how things went, and of course get our eyes focused for the 2014 season, where I'll be revealing the calendar, the dates and stuff, and of course that means when the season will start. Let's take a look first though at the full championship standings from the season. Of course we were victorious in the championship. This is a lot to look at, don't get me wrong, but of course it's showing more where those victories were, where our podiums were, and of course how the season kind of unfolded. No retirements for us all the way through the season, and of course top fives in every single race gave us a 2-point championship lead after the season finale. We win the championship by 2 points. Lewis Hamilton up there. It was more the retirements at Italy and Bahrain that really kind of dropped him off, and of course that victory in the United States for us really almost basically sealed the deal for us, despite really Hamilton being the best driver throughout the season. But it is what it is. Sebastian Vettel was kind of close, but dropped out of contention late on with that retirement at what was a hilarious Korean Grand Prix. If you haven't watched it, go and watch it. It was absolute banter. Of course, it was a fun season though. A good one for us to come out on top. But let's take a look at the Constructors Championship. Basically the same kind of sheet that you've already just seen, but obviously just reordered. Red Bull were the ones who came out as the Constructors' Championship. Mercedes in second. McLaren, we ended up there in third position in the standings. The only other team to take a victory was Felipe Massa's Ferrari, of course, at the Singapore Grand Prix. But again, you can see kind of the domination of some of the teams. I think there was only one single 1-2 throughout the entire season, which was the Korean Grand Prix. I don't think I can see another one. A few double podiums, but nothing too major. And a worthy performance for Red Bull, who of course go into the next season as the defending Constructors champions. Here is a qualifying head-to-head between each of the teams. Closest team really on there, if you can take a quick look. Mercedes, Nico Rosberg 9, Lewis Hamilton 10, Nico Hulkenberg to Esteban Gutierrez 19-0. Same with Pastor Maldonado and Valtteri Bottas. However realistic you think that is, I have no idea. I mean, I'm not sold on it. Sebastian Vettel, Mark Webber 18-1. Us and Jensen 5-14. Us coming out slightly on top of that one, but really not by much. Just interesting to look at. Let's take a look at the races. And a little bit less surprising with the ratio there between us and Jensen, 19-0. Whoops, Jensen did not have a good season this year, must be said. Surprised that Hamilton was 16-3 over Rosberg. Rosberg did have a few decent races, just 12-17. Sebastian Vettel to Mark Webber. You can see some of the other ratios in there. Jules Bianchi to Max Chilton, 14-5 and stuff. Again, just interesting to look at. And now we take a look at our race results over our entirety of our career. If you haven't joined us for the journey before, well, obviously we've been running it since 2010 when we started off with Force India and Mercedes. In that, we did take 3 victories. One, of course, at Canada, one at the Italian Grand Prix, and then finishing off the season at the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, taking victory. Ended up third in the championship. Our first World Championship victory, though, was with the Lotus team in our first season with it, mostly courtesy of that 3-victory streak between Italy and Japan. Coming out on top, not by much in that one. Obviously, a battle with Mark Webber. And he blew up on the last lap. We got very lucky with our World Championship so far. 2012 didn't come out on top, but scored a decent amount of points. And this one, 317 points with the 4 victories to come out on top in the championship. Just interesting to look at. But now it's time to talk 2014. Firstly, we'll take a look at the entry list, though. And yes, as you can see, maybe a little bit messy on the numbers, but obviously it's custom numbers for the first time in Formula 1. Sebastian Vettel with the number 1, don't worry too much about that. It's just because I'm not going through and changing the game. Yes, of course, he's not the world champion, but I'm not about that. It is what it is. He can keep it, and obviously we'll ignore it for this season, and then we'll move on properly. We're in the 78 though. That is my racing number, and that's just across sim racing as well. Obviously you can see that. The returns though for a few drivers. Sergio Perez, obviously we've replaced him, so he's now moved off to Force India Mercedes. We also have the return of Kamui Kobayashi as well, which will be a lot of fun as well. A couple of movements in there. Should be a lot of fun, and we get to look at that absolute dog water of a Ferrari, which Kimi Raikkonen and Fernando Alonso will be piloting. And of course, that Mercedes is going to be strong. We'll see how we feel. We've got a Mercedes engine. Yeah, it could be some fun. Which then leaves us with the important stuff to talk about. When is it back? And yes, indeed, as you can see here, 1st of March, we will be rolling off with the Australian Grand Prix, starting off the hybrid era, and it'll be running off to the 3rd of May. Few new tracks in there, of course. Austria's return to the F1 calendar, and we do get to go off to the delightful Russian Grand Prix. That, I'm sure, will be Not fun, but we'll roll with it. It should be a bit of a fun season. Thank you so much for watching this. Thank you so much for watching the journey and supporting the series. Obviously 77 races we've done so far, and I think we're going to be around for quite a few more. We'll see you though on the 1st of March for the Australian Grand Prix.